Did you ever have an imaginary friend as a kid? Have you ever thought what happened if they came to life and were with you? Have you ever thought what happens if they would try and kill you and take you away to a very special place where you'd never see your family again? And your family goes crazy and they try and kill you for it? Well, Imaginary answers all those questions in this brand new horror flick. And we're going to dive into it in this very episode. So let's go.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Imaginary is a brand new horror flick from Blumhouse. Now, this was a budget of $12 million. It's currently at the box office and currently has made $11 million. So right now it's doing pretty good. And I was lucky enough to get an early screening review thanks to Studio Canal. And I remember seeing the trailer for this and thinking, okay, this looks very much like the brand new If movie that's coming out this year with Ryan Reynolds, except this is the complete and utter flip. This is what happens if it's a horror flick if they were real. And I was watching the trailer and I was like, okay, you have my curiosity into this. So when I got the opportunity to go see it, I was very optimistic. A lot more optimistic than I was when I saw Excess Believer. So when I was watching, because this is brand new, and while I was watching it, I must say, if you're looking for something weird, wacky, and wonderful, and horror above the line, I recommend this flick. Now, this stars Wanda Wire. You would see her from Jurassic Dominion, Tom Payne, Bobby Bradley, Matthew Sayer, and Tegan Burns. Now, it's basically what happens is this little family. Jessica starts off having nightmares about Simon the Centipede, a fictional book character that she created because she has this wild imagination. And of course, if you have a wild imagination, you're going to have good dreams and you're going to have bad dreams. So, at the very start of this film, which we are going to dive into spoilers, so heads up, she has these nightmares of someone trying to kill her. Now she's married Max. She has adopted the two kids Max has from the previous mother, who's gone crazy and is a little bit dark on what's happened on that end, which is never really fully explained for the movie, but you know it's pretty dark on what's happened. And the two kids, Tegan and Elise. Now, because she's having these nightmares, Jessica wants to move back to her old house and see old house where her family grew up. Now, it's alluded to what happens is that she used to grow up in this house, and then something happened, and they all moved away and split up. Her mother passed away. Her dad is currently in not in a clinic, but an old folks home, kind of has dementia, saying rambling things, but Jessica doesn't really remember everything that happened and why it all split up. So when they move into this house, creepy things are happening to Jessica. You can see things in the background happening and very creepy moments. And yes, before anyone asks, yes, I did jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 times in this film because horror flicks, I'm a little bit scarish of it, but I do enjoy them to a degree. And so with everything going on, I did jump, so happy to know it. I went with my brother-in-law and he thought it was hilarious that I was jumping so much. Or the fact that I told him the entire ingredients and wearing a Coke bottle and I'm reading it like this. Right in front of my face. So as these weird things are happening, Alice, she finds this teddy bear. And it's called Chauncey. And this bear becomes the best friend. And it becomes all the fact of what she's going to be doing with the bear. You know, they go on adventures. She's spending a lot of time. And his best friend. Because Alice feels a bit disconnected because she's the youngest, away from Jessica and away from her sister. Her dad also goes on tour, so it's only the 3 of them. And there's a bit in the film when Elise, the MVP of this movie is Elise. She does a fantastic job in acting wise. She is the main person you should. She does. I give all the praise. So as she's going through all this, you can see that she's imagining the second voice of Chauncey, and she's talking to her, and she's doing all of that, and everything seems okay. It's a normal friend, imaginary friend she has. Jessica's currently also struggling to make a new book for her new kids book with Simon the Centipede, which at least gives her the idea of making Simon a friend. But as it progresses, we find out that Elise and Chauncey are going on a scavenger hunt, which the scavenger hunt gets a little bit creepier and creepier and creepier all the way through, until the point where we see Elise, she's going to put her hand through a nail. But for a split second, you can see the fact that it looks like a flower. So she thinks, oh, fine. Jessica does stop her and find out what's happening. And she says, Chauncey did a scavenger hunt. So you see that as it all progresses, and it gets darker and darker and darker, and what's happening. And then Jessica also starts remembering on what and why she left, and sees all of her drawings that she used to do. She used to draw a lot. And you find out the scavenger hunt is the same one that she did as a kid, but it was written on the wall. And then finds out Chauncey was also her imaginary friend back when she was a kid. Now, there's a terrific scene, which I do love, where they get one of the psychiatrists to come in and talk to Elise about the bear. And what happens is, like, they have a camera going, she's asking all these questions, but as the camera frames, you can see the fact that Elise's face is right in front of the bear, so you don't see the bear. And then for a split second you see it, she turns around and starts talking to the psychiatrist, but her voice is still going as Chauncey, but she's not, her lips aren't moving. So that was a terrific scene, and I loved it. And then just a little bit later, you see the fact that she's talking to the psychiatrist. It's all about the bear and what's happening. She's explaining all this. But what happens is, the psych says to her, what bear? She watches the video. There's no bear there. No one remembers the bear. Only she and Elise can see the bear. So it gets a little bit more intense. And then there's also this little creepy old lady next door. Because these films always have to have a creepy old lady nearby to explain some plot, or don't go in there, or all this. And she fits the perfect role, and she explains everything to Taylor, that what happened in the old house and what this imaginary friend is. This imaginary friend has been around for millennia, and the fact that she's drawn to Jessica because Jessica has such a wild imagination and wants to, use her energy and take her to this world. The never ever, which sounds very Peter Pan-ish, to take her over to there. And what happens is, Elise does do the full scavenger hunt. She does this, old pottery trick in the flames, and she disappears. And they find out where she's gone into this secret world. So they also go to this world, which a little bit rough in how it's done. A little bit of stabbing, a little bit of brutal honesty between Jessica and Tegan Taylor through it. And as it goes into this secret world, it gets a little bit more dicey. There's more jump scares. It's weird. It makes me... This film, probably the later half, gave me big Beetlejuice vibes. And I think you'll get that too. And there's a lot more twists that go on back and forth. But overall, this film, I found, was solid. I didn't find anything that was a little bit low points. I know there was a lot of comments and a lot of reviews I saw people saying that, it's a bit of a bland plot, or, good premise, but not overly fantastic. I think I have to disagree. Like, I found this film very, solid in its own little world. Like, you're not going in expecting, something massive, or, on a Dune level, or, Scream, or Saw level. This is just something small, intimate, and plays on the whole idea of about imaginary friends. And I love that plot piece for this entire film. Now, it's not a very long film, so you're not sitting down for too long. So I'd say this is a good Saturday horror flick to put on. Definitely don't watch this with your kids, because it might mortify them imaginary friends forever and ever. But this is more of a teenager adult film, I would say. So don't watch this with your kids. Do not get this confused with the upcoming If movie. But overall, I found this solid. I found the CGI, the sets, all fantastic. Yes, there were some plot points that you're like, yep, old lady, millennia, energy, yep, tick, 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 tick. But as soon as those credits start rolling, I thought, nah, this was a win. I found this more of a coherent story than if we're comparing it to oh my god, I forgot, Exodus Believer. I found it a much more coherent story. And I think this is an absolute win. It doesn't need a sequel, doesn't need anything like that. But if you're looking for something a little bit different and something not too long, but something short, contained, I highly recommend this. But again, Elise is a standout character, played by Piper. She is the absolute standout for this film, and this has my absolute approval for this film. And it's currently in theaters right now, so you're probably going to see it. No, it's really hard to say. 2 or 3 months on DVD. But to me, this is another win from Blumhouse. And the fact it's already made to save money for its budget, depending on marketing, proves the point. This isn't going to blow doors off anybody, but this is an absolute small win, but solid. But let me know, have you seen this film? What did you think? What you didn't like? And do you want to see a sequel? And if you do, what do you want to see in that sequel? Let me know in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are. As always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.